Well, I've made a bit of a startling discovery. I have lost leaves out of that spring pack with the hub, and you can see that that's shifted back several inches. It's not good. I'm missing 2 whole leaves out of that rear spring pack, and I'm not sure what to do to get back to camp. I think what I'm going to try and do, I thought I had better ratchet straps in here. I haven't dug through everything yet, but I think I'm going to try and run the winch underneath and hook onto this side of the axle and see if I can pull the axle straight, and then maybe use one of my ratchet straps to tie it and hold it. The one that I found is kind of old and crusty. I don't know that it's kind of rotten out. I don't know that it's going to hold very good. I'm tempted to leave the winch on it, but I'm worried there's just enough flex that that'll want to pull it. So I think it'll be better if I could just have something standalone tying that. But I think that's phase 1 at least, is just to try and get the axle straight again, because the other side's still tied. So if I can get this pulled, then it should be good. We'll see. Okay, looks like that worked to pull it forward. So I think I've got it kind of centered. I've got this old winch cable. This was a winch cable that I broke. I don't remember what I was doing. Anyways, that I replaced, but I thought, man, there's 50 feet of that stuff. I'm going to hang on to it. So I think what I'm going to try and do is use this instead of that old tie down, because like I said, it's not very big to begin with, and it's pretty crusty. So I'm going to try and remember knots and see if maybe I can secure it using this. We'll see what I come up with. Okay, here's what I've come up with so far. So I've got this line back, and then I've got one coming off the back too, that's tied in. So hopefully kind of like a link system that'll kind of tie and hold force against each other. I was a little worried about the whole this whole pack here possibly coming apart more, but it looks like they're still tied together. What's left, I think, still has their kind of pins through them and is okay. So I'm just going to try and take it really easy coming out of here and make sure that I use 4-wheel drive and low range as I need to, so that I'm not putting a lot of pressure on the rear end. I really wish right now that I had a rear drive shaft disconnect, because I could probably unbolt this and do the same thing, but that's a lot of extra work that I kind of don't want to deal with. If I have to, I will. But with the locker in the rear end, I don't have a way to select that locker, so it's constantly torquing, and both wheels, because both wheels are constantly driving. So as I go through washouts and things like that, I'll probably just try and put it in 4-wheel drive and just really creepy crawly through it, so that I'm not putting a lot of pressure on that rear end. So anyways, I'm going to try and get packed up and cross my fingers and hope that that works. There's a pretty good chance that as soon as I put it in first gear and let out the clutch, the whole thing's going to shift and I'm going to be back to plan A again, because I'm not super thrilled with the knots that I tied, and not super thrilled with how tight I was able to cinch everything down to. I really wish I had a couple of good ratchet straps, because that would be the ticket, is you can just crank those down tight, you pull them tight against each other and be in good shape. But we're going to give this a shot and see at least, and hopefully I can get out of here. Well, so far so good. I pulled away and went up the road a little bit, stopped, got out and checked it out. Everything looked like it was still kind of mostly straight and tight, and so I think we'll be good. I'm just going to take it easy. It's going to be a long drive out because I was in here fairly deep. But that's okay. It's a beautiful day. I'm just going to try and sit back and enjoy the ride, and I'll keep my eyes open for deer as I go. I don't know what that's going to do to change my plans tonight, but I've got plenty of time to think about it, so I'll let you know. Alright, we've headed down the road a little bit. I kind of heard a weird noise back there, but got out and looked, and everything still seems like it's in line, and there's a little bit of slack in the stuff that I've tied, but I think it's probably just from stretching. But they're still tight enough, I think, and so I'm gonna keep on rolling. Just came over a bit of a rough spot, so just wanted to look again. Yeah, I think we're still okay. It's still maybe sitting back just a hair, but I think we're okay. So keep on rolling. Okay, I made it back to camp. Everything's still in one piece. You can see right now it's shifted back a little bit. I think that happened. There's a really sharp turn back there that was kind of washed out too, and so I think the process of manipulating and kind of torquing through that probably just pulled it. But that wasn't very far back on the road, so I think we're okay. I still don't have a solid plan for tonight and what I'm going to do. I think probably I'm going to retie it, head back to the road, back to my truck, and at the truck I've got ratchet straps. And so I'll be able to really cinch it down there, and I'll probably take my truck and go for a drive, see if I can find a spot. I'll have to kind of stay on the more, well, I don't have to, I'll want to stay on the more main roads just because I don't want to take my truck where I took this today. I don't know if I could take my truck where I took this today, so it's a little bit of a bummer. It's not gonna put a big damper on the hunt, but definitely changes my plans. So I'm gonna get some lunch and think on that a little bit, and we'll figure something out. All right, I've switched wheels. I think what I'm planning to do is I'm gonna head over to, sorry, get that opened up there. I'm gonna head over to this other spot real quick. I think the quicker way around is gonna be to hit the pavement, loop around that way, and see what I can find to get into the back end. And then once I'm in the back end, then I'll kind of slowly start working my way out along the dirt road until it's past shooting light, and then come on back. I went ahead and strapped the axle back up on Sami, and that looks like that's holding pretty good. I'm really tempted to still run up there and hunt that spot in the morning with the way that it is. I think if I just take it easy on it, that so coming out wasn't that bad. There was a couple of rough spots, but I think as long as I take it easy, I don't think it'll be an issue. So I'm kind of tempted just to throw in some heavier ratchet straps now that I know that I could just run that winch line under and suck it back into position again. If one of my straps breaks or rope breaks or something like that, then I can just redo it again. So we'll see how I feel after tonight and what I'm thinking about in the morning. I do need to get to work tomorrow, so it would be bad if something big happened and I ended up stranded out there and kind of lost another day. I really don't think that would happen though, but we'll see. So anyways, that's the plan right now, is I've got some snacks, and we're just gonna kind of pound the road a little bit here till I get back into the area that I want to be, and then I'll kind of slow down and maybe do a little bit of hiking and scouting and looking and whatever else, maybe shooting. That'd be nice. So we'll see. All right, we walk from here. Well, I just jumped something out of here. I went over and looked at the tracks, and they looked big enough that they could have been a mature buck. What can you do? I was trying to be quiet, but obviously I wasn't being quiet enough. I'm gonna get my pack on, get moving again, because I'm losing daylight quick, and I'd like to cover some more ground before I get back to the truck. Well, not too sure how that's gonna turn out. Hopefully you can see me okay with the light and everything. I've kind of shut myself in here. That's why I want to get the net, because last night I had bugs coming in because of the light. They're attracted to the light. So, anyways, I made it back. It's almost 10 p.m. and so I'm gonna get myself some food. I'm gonna try and decide between, I think I've got spaghetti, rice and chicken, or beef stroganoff that I can choose from. I think I'm gonna go with the beef stroganoff tonight, but I'm gonna have myself some dinner and go to bed. And I think I'm gonna wake up early, go see what I can find, or at least go see what I can see in the morning. It seems like that strap's doing okay on that rear axle. I threw in a couple of heavy dutier, whatever, thicker, better straps. So if I run into an issue, then I'll rework things and we'll figure it out from there. But as for now, I'm tired, so I'm gonna sign off, call it a night. Okay, I've made it down in here. It's honestly a little bit later than I was hoping it would be, but that means that I can probably hike down in without my headlamp too. So I was up and going at 5 a.m., but it just took longer to get down in here than I anticipated while I was kind of babying this, just taking it easy through all that stuff. So anyways, I'm gonna get loaded up and hike down in and see if I can find my spot on the little bench I made yesterday, and sit tight for a couple hours and see what happens. It's amazing how quiet deer can be with 4 legs and hoofed feet in this forest here. I sat there for, almost 2.5 hours. And I kept hearing squirrels and all sorts of noise and no deer, no deer, no deer. And finally I said, well, I guess I'm going to head back. It's about time for me to hit my deadline to get packed up and be back in time for work. And I stood up, and you'll probably see the surprise if this was still running. And there was a little buck that was coming down behind me, and he froze when he saw the movement, and then suddenly busted out of there. And I stood up and looked, and he actually trotted down and stood where I probably would have. I mean, he was within shooting range, but there's just way too many trees, and even me trying to get the bow draw, just any of that movement would have busted him out. And anyways, he stood and kind of waited for a minute, and then he headed on out of there. But isn't that how it goes? If I probably would have sat there for another 15 minutes, he would have wandered down while I was still, and maybe I could have had a shot. But anyways, what can you do? It was a beautiful morning, and it was nice just to kind of hang out and sit. But I just eyeballed this wheel again. Everything still looks okay there. Looks like everything's still tight from what I can tell. So I'm going to hop in and work my way back to camp and tear down camp and drag it out of there, load up on the trailer, and head for home. So I'm going to go ahead and sign out now and tell you until next time, lock them in, grab a gear, grab some ratchet straps too, because they're handy, and I'll see you in the hills.